Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. At 88, Jack Nicholson finally tells the truth about Robin Williams. Jack Nicholson was born John Joseph Nicholson on April 22, 1937 in Neptune City, New Jersey. From the very beginning, his life had strange things happen because he grew up thinking that his grandmother was his mum and that his real mum was his sister. He found out the truth much later when he was grown up. This early twist in his personal story has often been said to be like something right out of a Hollywood movie, showing the hard and deep things that Nicholson would later bring to his roles on screen. He grew up in a working-class home, and Nicholson got really interested in acting and telling stories when he was young, which led him to want to become an actor. Getting into Hollywood was not fancy or easy. He started working as a helper at MGM's cartoon studio before slowly getting acting jobs, often having a hard time for years before finding his big break. Nicholson's career started in the late 1950s when he got small parts in cheap movies, often made by Roger Corman. Even though these early parts did not make him famous right away, they gave him the chance to learn how to act, figure out his style, and build his strength in a business that often needs you to keep trying, more than being successful right away. His big break came in 1969 with Easy Rider, where his acting as the drunk lawyer George Hanson got him his first Oscar nomination. That role pushed him into the mainstream and started a bunch of amazing performances that would shape the next 40 years of movies. During the 1970s, Nicholson made his name as a powerful actor. His role in Five Easy Pieces, 1970, showed his amazing ability to play unhappy, complicated characters who were struggling with who they were and feeling left out. In The Last Detail, 1973, he gave a rough emotional performance that was both funny and deeply touching. His part as Randall McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975, is still one of the greatest performances in movie history, winning him his first Academy Award for Best Actor. Nicholson's acting of McMurphy, a rebel standing up against the mean Nurse Ratched, captured the spirit of the 1970s counterculture and made his place as a cultural icon solid. The 1980s brought another big role with Stanley Kubrick's scary horror masterpiece, The Shining, 1980. Nicholson's terrifying but fascinating acting of Jack Torrance, a writer going crazy, became something everyone would remember in pop culture. Lines like, "Here's Johnny," have been repeated for generations, proof of how Nicholson could bring unforgettable energy to the screen. In terms of endearment, 1983, he showed his gentler side, getting another Academy Award for playing Garrett Breedlove, a charming retired astronaut. This ability to be both, being able to show both craziness and gentleness with a cool belief, set him apart as one of the most flexible actors of his time. The 1989 release of Batman, where Nicholson played the Joker, was another big moment. His bigger-than-life, evil but playful performance not only fascinated audiences around the world, but also set a standard for comic book bad guys on screen. Nicholson's Joker was so powerful that it influenced generations of actors who later played the role. His ability to put charm, danger and humor into one character showed once again the amazing range of his artistry. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Nicholson kept delivering unforgettable performances. In A Few Good Men, 1992, his acting of Colonel Nathan R. Jessup gave movie one of its most famous lines, "You can't handle the truth." The strength and power he brought to the role showed his unmatched ability to take over the screen. After showing his flexibility in films such as Mars Attacks, 1996, the funny sci-fi comedy where Nicholson managed to both scare and amuse audiences, and Hoffa, 1992, where he put himself completely into the role of the well-known Labour leader Jimmy Hoffa, as well as Man Trouble, another project that highlighted his ability to bring complicated layered characters to life. Jack Nicholson entered what many critics call the golden time of his later career. In 1997, he amazed the world once again with his unforgettable performance in James L. Brooks's romantic comedy drama, As Good as It Gets, starring opposite Helen Hunt. Nicholson played Melvin Udall, a grumpy, obsessive, compulsive novelist whose sharp wit and stubborn weird habits slowly give way to moments of gentleness. His detailed performance, balancing humor with being easily hurt, not only fascinated audiences but also won him an Academy Award for Best Actor, proving that even decades into his career, Nicholson was still able to change himself and surprise the world. As the new millennium started, Nicholson kept showing his incredible range and staying power. In 2002, he took on the role of Warren Schmidt in About Schmidt, a sad comedy that saw him drop his trademark charm to play a lonely, recently retired widower navigating the emptiness of his later years. Critics praised the performance as one of the most quiet and powerful of his career, showing that Nicholson could do great, not only in flashy, bigger-than-life roles, but also in quiet, deeply human stories. Just a year later, in 2003, he reminded fans of his comedic genius when he teamed up with Adam Sandler in the box office hit Anger Management. Nicholson's acting of the unusual wild-eyed therapist, Dr. Buddy Riddle, brought an unpredictable energy to the film and left audiences laughing while making his reputation as an actor who could take over any type of movie even stronger. But Nicholson wasn't finished yet. In 2006, he returned to the darker side of his repertoire, taking on the chilling role of Frank Costello, a ruthless Irish mob boss in Martin Scorsese's crime epic, The Departed. Acting alongside Hollywood heavyweights Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio, Nicholson stole scenes with his sinister unpredictability, creating one of the most memorable villains of modern movies. His performance was so powerful and haunting that it got him a Golden Globe nomination, reminding the industry once again why he stood among the greatest actors of all time. The very next year, Nicholson surprised audiences again, this time in a more heartwarming and thoughtful light. In 2007, he co-starred with Morgan Freeman in The Bucket List, a touching drama comedy about two terminally ill men who set out on a globe-trotting adventure to fulfill their life's dreams before dying. Nicholson's role as the wealthy but emotionally guarded Edward Cole allowed him to explore themes of death, friendship, and redemption, striking a balance between wit and sadness. The film became a cultural touchstone, inspiring millions with its message about living life to the fullest and further made Nicholson's legacy as an actor who could touch audiences across generations even stronger. Jack Nicholson's personal life has long fascinated the public almost as much as his legendary acting career. His first and only marriage was to actress Sandra Knight in 1962. At the time, Nicholson was a rising star in Hollywood, still building his career. While Knight was known for her appearances in films such as Frankenstein's Daughter, 1958, their marriage, though marked by youthful energy and Hollywood glamour, was not meant to last forever. After 6 years together, the couple decided to split up, officially getting divorced in 1968. Even though their marriage ended, they shared a daughter, Jennifer Nicholson, born in 1963. Jennifer grew up mostly away from the spotlight, but she eventually followed her own creative path, becoming a fashion designer. Nicholson always stayed a supportive father, and even though his marriage to Sandra Knight ended, their connection through their daughter remained an important part of his life. After his divorce, Jack Nicholson never married again, but he became known for a series of high-profile and often stormy relationships that kept him firmly in the spotlight. One of his early and well-documented romances was with actress Susan Anspach, whom he met in the early 1970s. Their relationship was complicated and passionate, reflecting Nicholson's free-spirited and unconventional lifestyle during that time, although their romance eventually came to an end. Anspach later claimed that Nicholson was the father of her son, Caleb Goddard. Born in 1970, Nicholson did not publicly say Caleb was his child, which led to years of guessing and tension, further adding to the mystery around his personal life. Maybe Nicholson's most famous and long-lasting relationship was with actress Angelica Houston, daughter of legendary director John Huston. Their romance began in 1973 and lasted on and off for nearly 17 years. During this time, they became one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples, admired for their charisma and talent, but also well known for their volatile relationship. Houston often described Nicholson as magnetic, unpredictable, and endlessly charming, but also difficult to pin down. Their love affair weathered many ups and downs, but ultimately ended in heartbreak for Houston, when Nicholson's cheating became too much to handle. Still, even after their breakup, the two kept mutual respect and a lasting love for one another, and Houston has often spoken honestly about how deeply Nicholson influenced her life. In the 1980s, Nicholson also had a relationship with Danish model Winnie Holman. Their time together may not have been as publicly watched as his romance with Houston, but it was important in Nicholson's personal life because it resulted in the birth of a daughter, Honey Holman. Honey grew up mostly outside of Hollywood, living in Denmark with her mother, away from the glitz and chaos of Nicholson's world. While Nicholson did not have a traditional family structure, he acknowledged his responsibility as a father and kept a connection with Honey throughout her life. By 1989, Nicholson entered into another high-profile romance, this time with actress Rebecca Broussard. Their relationship marked a new chapter for him as it was one of his longest and most committed partnerships. Nicholson and Broussard were together for 5 years, during which time they welcomed 2 children, a daughter Lorraine, born in 1990, and a son, Raymond, born in 1992. Unlike some of his other relationships, Nicholson was very present as a father during this time, often photographed spending time with his young children. Lorraine eventually pursued a career in acting, appearing in films like Soul Surfer 2011, while Raymond grew up to become an actor as well, continuing the family's creative legacy. Even after their romantic relationship ended in 1994, Nicholson and Broussard remained committed to raising their children together, which was proof of their maturity and love that had existed between them. Later in the 1990s, Nicholson's name was romantically linked to actress Lara Flynn Boyle, who was then gaining fame from her role on Twin Peaks and other projects. Their relationship, though brief, got attention because of their noticeable age difference and Nicholson's reputation as a Hollywood playboy. Reports suggested that their romance was intense but short-lived, ending after only a few years. Still, it further made Nicholson's image as a man who, even well into middle age, continued to be linked to glamorous women and remained a captivating figure in Hollywood's social scene even stronger. At 88 years old, Jack Nicholson has reached a point in his life where he looks back on his career and friendships with a clarity that only age and thinking can bring. For decades, Nicholson was known as one of Hollywood's most mysterious figures, always witty, sharp and unpredictable both on and off the screen. Yet, in arrogant private conversation, he opened up about his late friend Robin Williams in a way he had rarely done before. His words carried the weight of both admiration and sadness. And for those who admired Williams, they offered a window into the deep respect one legend had for another. Robin was like lightning in a bottle, Nicholson admitted, pausing before he spoke as though carefully choosing his words. You never knew what direction he'd go in, but you always knew it would be brilliant. For Nicholson, who had built a career on intensity and razor-sharp performances, Williams represented a kind of artistic freedom that very few could master. Their paths crossed numerous times throughout their years in Hollywood, both socially and professionally, and Nicholson recalled how Williams' presence could change the entire energy of a room. He could make a room full of people go from silence to tears of laughter in seconds, Nicholson said. And I don't think the world will ever see that kind of raw magic again. Nicholson went further, admitting that Williams's humor was only one layer of who he was. People saw Robin as this whirlwind of comedy, but he was one of the most thoughtful men I ever knew. He felt things deeply, maybe too deeply at times. That was both his gift and his burden. In saying this, Nicholson was pointing to the duality that defined Williams, his unmatched ability to give joy to others while privately struggling with his own battles. Nicholson confessed that he often saw in Williams a sensitivity that others overlooked. There was a tenderness in him, Nicholson explained, and you could see it in his eyes, even when he was making you laugh until your stomach hurt. The two actors were different in many ways. Nicholson with his iconic grin and often threatening screen presence, and Williams with his boundless energy and improvisational genius. Yet they shared a bond built on mutual respect. Nicholson revealed that whenever they spent time together, there was always laughter, but there was also honesty. He'd sit down with you, look you straight in the eye and listen. Robin really listened, and that's a rare quality in this business, Nicholson said softly. He didn't care about the Hollywood games. He cared about people. Nicholson also addressed the pain of losing Williams in 2014, a loss that shook Hollywood and fans around the globe. When Robin left us, it was like a light went out in the world, Nicholson reflected, his voice heavy with emotion. I remember hearing the news and just sitting there not quite believing it. It felt impossible that someone who gave so much life could be gone. He admitted that Williams' passing reminded him of how fragile even the brightest spirits can be. We think these people are larger than life, but they're human, just like the rest of us. And sometimes, being human is the hardest thing. Nicholson concluded his reflections with words that revealed how much Williams had meant to him personally. Robin had this generosity of spirit. He gave everything he had every time, whether it was on stage, in a movie, or just talking to a friend. That's what I'll always carry with me. He wasn't just funny, he was extraordinary. For Nicholson, speaking so openly about his friend was a way of honoring a man whose talent and humanity left a permanent mark not only on audiences, but also on his peers. As Jack Nicholson sits in the twilight of his own remarkable life and career, his memories of Robin Williams remain vivid, a reminder of the rare connection two Hollywood giants shared. And in finally telling the truth about his friend, Nicholson allowed the world to see not only the depth of Williams' artistry, but also the profound impact he had on those who truly knew him.